up this morning, sun's a bit hazy. Checking the forecast, things looking crazy. A storm on the horizon, the pressure is low. Gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, we're stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. EMA, let's get this show on the road.
Let's get this show on the road. Hey guys, welcome to Emergency Management Associates today. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody who's joined us here on the program today. First thing off the bat, I want to do a little housekeeping. I would ask all of you here to please give us a thumbs up if you enjoy what we're doing here on this program. Give us a thumbs up and let YouTube know that you count on us for your emergency information. Hector Proctor is here. Just a few minutes ago, he said, hope you have a good one. World news is crazy when I reach out to reliable sources like Ron. Thank you so much for that vote of confidence, Hector. We appreciate it. God bless you for that. We love it. We absolutely love it. Lori says she knows the words. Nice introduction music, said Joe. That's awesome. We just got that this past weekend, and we give credit to our friend and associate over at Rebecca Explorer over here on YouTube. You might also go over and see her channel here on YouTube and give her some love and subscribe to her channel. She talks mostly about earthquakes worldwide, but she's a great lady. Also, one of our mods here, Rich from Nova Scotia, is here. Rich Nova Scotia Quakes has also a channel here. Look that up here on YouTube and show his channel some love as well. Thank you all for being here, guys. We love each and every one of you. This morning, we did a members-only meeting, okay? 10 a.m. Pacific time this morning, we did a members-only meeting. I wanted Eastern time, but I had some issues with my back, and we came on the air at 10 a.m. Pacific time. But anyway, getting back to our housekeeping here, please give us a thumbs up and also subscribe to our channel. YouTube continues to unsubscribe people. So if you're here on this channel and you've seen it, subscribe to this channel so you can get the utmost in emergency information from this channel. We talk about everything under the sun when it comes to emergencies and disasters. We've covered an oil refinery fire that happened this weekend in Los Angeles, the El Segundo oil facility there that caught on fire, had an explosion, caught on fire and burned for almost 24 hours. That is also I also found out that's going to have a significant impact on gas prices around the world, especially gas prices here in the United States. Okay, that's for beginning. Okay, subscribe to this channel. When you subscribe to this channel, also, there's a little bell icon right next to the subscription button. Click on that. That is a little bell icon to get notified of when we come on the air. Click on that. There's a little three menu item that will pop up after you click on it. Click on that and click on all. That way you'll get notified when we come on there. But be advised, YouTube says they're going to notify you, but they really don't. We come on the air sometime after 4 p.m. Eastern Time during the weekday. Now, something could happen at night. Something could happen on the weekend. Yes, if something does happen, we will come on the air and tell you about it as soon as the information appears. We'll come on the air and talk to you about it. Okay? Whether it's an earthquake, whether there is a major explosion causing a fire, whether there's a fire that's set by some stupid idiot, or even a derailed railroad train that causes major implications. We talked about that as well. Okay? We talk about it when it affects the public, when it affects people and families. We come on the air and talk about it. Okay? Today we want to talk about something that's happened just in the past year, since January 1st. Okay? A suspect was arrested in Florida today on charges of starting the Pacific Palisades fire. Okay? He started the Pacific Palisades fire. He's been arrested, and the FBI and Los Angeles Sheriff and police detectives have been working on this case for over 8 months. He's been arrested today. Okay? They're convening a grand jury right now, giving the grand jury evidence of what happened, and then they're going to indict him. They're going to indict him. They have plenty of evidence to hold him. They're going to indict him probably either by Friday or at least the beginning of next week. Okay? This man, his name is Jonathan Reichnecker. Jonathan Rinnecker. Okay, I can't pronounce his name. Rinderknecht. Rinderknecht. He's 29 years old. He was arrested at his home in Melbourne, Florida. Okay? He was arrested last night. Officials during a press conference earlier today, they arrested him and they gave us a short press conference on what happened. Okay? Officials are accusing Rinderknecht, also known as Jonathan Rinder, of starting the Lockman fire. Okay? The Lockman fire was just north of Pacific Palisades. He started on just after midnight on New Year's Day. That fire was put out, but it was smoldering beneath the ground. Smoldered beneath the ground and caused the Pacific Palisades fire. Okay? Specifically, this was a Lockman Pacific Palisades fire. Just to give you specifics. Now, while the Lockman fire was quickly suppressed, officials said it continued burning underground until winds ignited it and what became the Pacific Palisades fire. The complaint said Rinder allegedly set what he knew was growing up in France. He knew that there was a French rap song during his rides. The music video for the song Unterzeller by the French artist Jasmin depicts fire scenes. Depicts fire scenes. This man knew exactly what he was doing. Now, prosecutors also allege Render used ChatGPT to create images of a dystopian painting of a city being burned on one side while hundreds of thousands of other people in poverty are trying to get past gigantic gates with a big dollar sign on it. Incredible, huh? It surely is. This man created a fire, and I don't think he was alone, okay? There are pictures showing other people who were involved, but Render was seen on video with a fire starter starting the fire. Render is charged with destruction of property, which means by fire, a felony that carries a mandatory minimum 5-year prison sentence and is punishable up to 20 years in federal prison. Okay? That carries a minimum sentence of 5 years with a maximum sentence punishable by up to 20 years in the federal penitentiary. So this man's been arrested. He's going to stay in jail. There's no bail hold on him. Look at that fire here. Look at that whole area that was burned. Thousands of people lost their homes. Tens of thousands of people lost everything. Everything they ever owned. Gone because of this yo-yo. But now he's going to be prosecuted. And there may be other people that will also be coming into this. But at least we have the person that started the whole thing. Okay? Any questions about this Pacific Palisades fire? Does anybody have any questions about it? Joe Shinpa says throw the book at him. I agree. I hope they do. Stephen Volcano said they didn't give up. No, they didn't. The firefighters didn't give up, and the police and the FBI also did not give up. President Trump also did not give up. And as a result, Governor Newsom and that stupid idiot mayor will probably end up going to jail. Because they promised President Trump that they would relieve not penalties, but they would relieve fees associated with rebuilding homes, and the mayor of LA and the Governor Newsom have not done that. With all said and done, the mayor is a jerk, and she's also committed crimes. Newsom's also committed crimes. If you remember, Newsom went and established a fire fund that was supposed to also help pay the firefighters and also provide money for the homeowners that lost everything. But guess what Newsom did? That money never went to the firefighters or the homeowners at all. He absconded with it. At the same time, he bought a home in Sacramento, a multi-million-dollar home in Sacramento. So we all the people in California, especially people in the LA area, need to ask Mr. Newsom, where's our money? And they need to follow the money trail and go after Governor Newsom. Governor Newsom is trying to run for president of the United States. I'm hoping between now and next year that they tear Newsom limb from limb. And they put him in behind bars and charge him with felony theft. The fire GoFundMe fund that was supposed to be used for firefighters and to fund the public that lost their homes went to Newsom. And I hope darn well that the FBI gets involved here and goes after Newsom for losing that money. And that was not the only fund. There was one other fund that Newsom made, and he absconded with the money. Unreal. It's a terrible, terrible incident. Okay? Unreal. Anyway, going on. There's a couple other things that have been going on. Okay? Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan is a congressman in the House of Representatives. Guess what he did today? Can anybody guess what Jim Jordan did today? He did something outstanding. Jim Jordan introduced a bill in Congress for both the United States presidency and also anyone that sits in the halls of Congress, both the House of Representatives and the Senate, making sure that nobody is in the House or Senate or the presidency that has not been a American-born citizen, such as this yo-yo here, Ilhan Omar. She's not the only one. There's at least 3 senators and another congresswoman that are not members or not American-born citizens of this country. They're in the House of Congress. They're in the halls of Congress. They don't belong here. Ilhan Omar has recently, as of about 2 weeks ago, lost all of the committees that she was assigned to. She's lost all the committees in Congress that she was assigned to. Now they're trying to throw her out of Congress. She and Rashid Tlaib are 2 of the worst. There's another woman also, Haid. They all need to be taken out of Congress and thrown out of the U.S. They need to be taken out of the halls of Congress and deported from the United States. Okay? It should never happen. We need to take back our United States, guys. We need to take back our United States. And Jim Jordan putting up this bill right now is going to be one step closer to doing that. Once this bill is approved and signed by the president, Rashid Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Haid will be expelled from Congress because they're not American-born citizens. They'll be expelled. Dennis N. says it's going to cost them. I hope it does. I hope darn well it does. Ilhan Omar is one of the worst. She got into this country because she said she was married to a man who turned out to be her brother. She got into the United States only because she was married to a man who she said was her husband, who turned out to be her brother. Then because of the place that she lived in a Islamic town, she got elected. We should never allow Islamic people even own property here in the U.S. No one should ever own property here in the U.S. that is not a U.S. citizen, because we have sold our country out by allowing those non-U.S. citizens to own property here in our country. Okay? Yes, I've taken a stand about that. I've taken a stand, and I stand by that. Okay? Elizabeth is here in the chat saying she has sinking spots in her yard and grass still there like little plots. Sinking spots. I wonder what that is. Elizabeth, where do you live? Where do you live? Elizabeth, can you tell us where you live? William says, does it make sense for legalized citizens that swear an oath to our Constitution? If they betray the oath, it's treason. It doesn't matter whether they are not U.S.-born citizens and they're in the halls of Congress. If they have sworn an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, then they have betrayed that oath. And Ilhan Omar has betrayed that oath. She said her loyalty is to Somalia, where she came from. That in and of itself is a declaration that she has no business being in the halls of Congress. She betrayed her oath to the Constitution. And the Constitution supersedes any cultural preference. The Constitution of the United States also supersedes any state constitution or state mandates that are imposed by governors and mayors in various cities. What have we seen there? Chicago, Governor Pritzker, one of the biggest big buffoons in this country. Governor Pritzker of Illinois, one of the biggest buffoons in this country. He's also defied the Constitution of this country. He defied it. He's committed treason. Along with Mayor Johnson of Chicago, committed treason. Both of them signed documents to keep ICE out of Illinois and ICE out of Chicago. That's treason. That in and of itself is treason, guys. These people have committed crimes, high crimes and misdemeanors against our country. They should be tossed out on their ears. Literally. Absolutely literally. They have no business being here. Now, there's something else I need to talk to you today about. Okay? Starting tomorrow, the weather is going to change here on the East Coast drastically. Okay? Today, we're having weather, the temperatures in the low 80s here. That's going to end tonight. Temperatures are going to drop into the mid 40s by midnight tonight here on the East Coast in North Carolina. Mid 40s, upper 50s by morning. But guess what? It's going to remain fairly chilly for a while. We have a nor'easter coming in. We have a nor'easter. Weather's changing. Okay? This nor'easter is going to affect property from Florida up into the New England area. Minor to moderate saltwater inundation expected. Coastal southeast South Carolina and coastal southeast Georgia, and also North Carolina. Morning and evening high tides will be capable of producing coastal flooding through the weekend. Coastal flooding not just on the coast, but on the rivers that pour in water into the Atlantic Ocean. Impacts. This is going to result, in some roads becoming impassable and minor flooding of properties. Now, some of this flooding is going to reach up to your doorsteps. If some of you live along the coastline or live along the rivers, this flooding will come up to your doorsteps. Okay? It's going to be ongoing. Let me give you the timeline of this flooding and potential impacts. The weather is going to start changing tomorrow, actually tonight. Now, while uncertainty remains in the forecast, most models agree a powerful low-pressure system will develop along the mid-Atlantic coast and move northward through the weekend. We are to expect minor to moderate coastal flooding with each high tide through the week, and the potential for major flooding late this week. Stay up to date. We will keep you up to date through the weekend, and possibly even on Saturday if this happens. Stay up to date. If roads are closed, stay up to date and respect road closures. Don't go into a flooded roadway. Don't go through, walking through, or driving through other areas that are flooded. Never drive through floodwaters. Very often, as we have seen, it is those persistent winds that come up that don't allow essentially high tide to completely go out. Again, high tide is not going to completely go out back out to sea. That's when we see coastal problems. A nor'easter is forecast to develop off the East Coast this weekend, with strong winds, heavy rain, and coastal flooding possible from the Carolinas to northeast seaboard. Now, it may only be the first half of October, but it's not too early. It's not too early for strong East Coast storms. And here's what the forecast holds. Through Friday, excuse me, through Friday before the Noreaster. Everyone needs to pay attention here. Picoy is here in the chat saying we have had summer temperatures until last night. The same thing here, where I live, in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains here, on the foothills of, guess what? The Atlantic Plate. Because the top of the mountains here, all along the coastline here, the top of the mountains are actually the Eastern Continental Divide. So I am sitting on the top of the Atlantic Plate out here. Okay? But we've seen warm temperatures, warm summertime temperatures, but that's going to change drastically. Over the next day or so, we expect high pressure to build into the northeast. Let me show you this next slide here. Okay, here's a slide I want to show you. The high pressure is going to develop over on the northeast coast. Okay? Along the southeast coast, north through New England, including Florida, onshore winds will lead to high areas of high surf. Onshore winds will lead to areas of high surf. Okay? We've seen that during the hurricanes. We're going to see rip currents, and we're going to see coastal flooding at high tide, particularly through the Carolinas to eastern Florida. The Carolinas to eastern Florida, meaning North and South Carolina, Georgia, and up into northern Florida. That happens even before the coastal storm forms. This coastal flooding could reach moderate levels in a few different places, including Charleston, South Carolina. There will also be showers with locally heavy rain along the Atlantic coast in Florida Thursday, tomorrow, spreading in northern parts of the Carolinas on Friday. We have a couple of vulnerable spots that we need to be very mindful of here. One is the Outer Banks. The Outer Banks, the islands just offshore. Those were vulnerable during the hurricanes, and this is going to be the same way now with this nor'easter. We can see some significant surf and possibly some beach erosion, meaning the ocean currents taking the sand off the beaches and taking it out to sea. Now, while the term nor'easter conjures up images of winter weather, cold air will not be in place during the storm. Again, cold air will not be in place during this particular storm. This means all the precipitation will be of the liquid variety along the heavily populated Interstate 95 corridor. As the low pressure system develops off to the southeast, heavy rain will create a flash flooding effect for the Carolinas and also parts of Virginia this weekend. NOAA Weather's Prediction Center has issued a level 2 out of 4 flash flood threat. They have issued a level 2 out of 4 flash flood threat. What do you need to know about that? Just this. That low is going to produce heavy surf, rip currents, and coastal surf surge. Coastal surf surge onshore. The winds and waves will be pushing on the shore, causing flooding. Okay? The flood threat for most of the North Carolina coast beginning Saturday, parts of the Chesapeake Bay and the Virginia and Maryland coasts are also under a flash flood warning. You guys are under a flash flood warning now. That's how serious it is. There's going to be days of heavy rain. There's going to be days of high winds and dangerous rip currents and high surf and storm surge. That is going to be very likely if the storm develops as it has been expected to do. Do we have any questions about the storm? It's going to hit. There's no doubt the storm is going to hit. Okay? Flash flood. Flash flood all the way from northern Florida all the way up to the eastern seaboard. Unreal. Does anybody have any questions about this? Again, the weather is changing tonight, so you have to be ready for it for tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. That's when we expect these high surf conditions, these rip currents, and storm surge to inundate the beaches area and also along the rivers. That incoming water, guys, let me reduce the size of this slide here. That incoming water is going to surge into the mouth of the rivers. As a result, the rivers are not going to be able to flow out to sea very fast because there's a surge going on into the river basin. That's going to cause water to back up along the mouths of the rivers and further inland. So we're going to see some storm surge. We're going to see high river flooding. High river flooding. Picoy is asking, did North Carolina ever recover from the last hurricane? To a certain extent, yes. But the coastal areas, the Outer Banks islands are still recovering. That was really bad. And I just heard today that the Outer Banks areas are still trying to recover because people lost their homes in the hurricane. The storm surge and the waves inundated those homes and destroyed some of those homes. The families are still trying to recover. They're trying to get some of their furniture that made it through the water, get it out of those homes, and take down those homes before another storm hits. Unreal. That was a great question. Cage Crow is asking how far north? It's going to go all the way north to Maine. All the way north to Maine, guys. When you particularly hear about a nor'easter, it's up on the northeastern seaboard. This particular storm is going to hit northern Florida all the way up to Maine. Okay? Unreal. Unreal. Let me go through these storm impacts. Low forms offshore southeast coast this weekend. Days of heavy rain and high winds are likely. High winds upwards of 40 miles per hour. Significant storm and beach weather. Significant surf and beach erosion. That's what's going to happen. Cage Crow says he's okay there. He said we've got tons of rain today already. Yeah, I can imagine. This has only started, guys. This has only started. Imagine what it could be through at least Saturday or Sunday. As this system really kicks in and goes north, the northeastern part of the U.S. and also possibly even southeastern Canada are going to be affected. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Any questions about this? So far, all your questions are valid. All your questions are very good. We appreciate that. I want to be able to answer your questions so you'll be able to know what's going on and protect your families, your property. That's why we're here. Okay. Now, this is Wednesday. This is also October 7th. Still the beginning of the month. But as this month races onward, it's going to get crazy, I promise you. Okay? All this year, we've warned you about earthquakes. We've warned you about earthquakes on the Pneumatic Fault. We've warned you about earthquakes in the Pacific Northwest. We've continued to warn you about Southern California. Okay? Southern California, go figure. Why do you think we've been warning you about Southern California? because we are expecting a major earthquake on the San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault, for all intents and purposes, is over on the northeastern side, the southeastern side of Los Angeles, all over the eastern side of LA, but also goes down into Southern California, into the Imperial Valley. Will also affect San Diego and Santa Barbara. Southern California, guys. The slide I'm showing you now is in northeastern Los Angeles. This is the Baldwin Hills Oil Refinery area. This is the Baldwin Hills Oil Refinery area. Usually here in the Baldwin Hills, all we see are tremors. But look what we see today. It's gone beyond tremors here in the Baldwin Hills. We're seeing earthquakes in the Baldwin Hills, guys. After 10 a.m. this morning on the left-hand side, tremors. But on the right, at 10:14 a.m. this morning, we had a 2.5 earthquake. Baldwin Hills, northwestern Los Angeles, a 2.5 earthquake. After that, just after 10:30, we had a 2.0 earthquake. Go figure. After 11:04 this morning, 11:04 a.m. this morning, we had a 2.7 earthquake. Yes, a 2.7 earthquake. Then again, after 11:17 a.m. this morning, we had a 2.2 earthquake. Now, I'm sorry, that was not after 11. That was 12 a.m. 12:04 a.m. this morning with a 2.5 earthquake. 2.2 earthquake at 12:17 p.m. this afternoon. 12:31 p.m. this afternoon. Another 2.5. Then at 12:43 this afternoon, another 2.0 earthquake. Now, while these are minor earthquakes, nobody felt them. But all over Los Angeles, I'm going to show you earthquakes on various faults all over the Los Angeles basin. When we get the 8.0 earthquake on the San Andreas Fault, all these other faults you see here today are going to be activated. All these other fault systems all over Los Angeles County, Orange County, out in the desert, San Diego and Imperial Valley, all the faults will be affected. The ground is going to move. We haven't seen earthquakes like this in Baldwin Hills for some time. When we get earthquakes in Los Angeles, it affects the pumping pressure of the oil being pumped out of the ground. When we get oil pumping out of the ground on a lower basis, earthquakes cause the oil pressure to drop at the pumps. Oil companies get nervous. But the politicians around Los Angeles County also get nervous. Mayors in every city of the Southern California area get nervous because oil being refined in Southern California is going to slow down. It's going to slow down. Earthquakes are happening here. Okay? Don Patokas just said he finished talking to his daughter in Corona, California, just southeast of LA. She said the media is playing it all down. When she gets an earthquake notification, they remove it before she can even see it. Unreal. That's what the United States Geological Survey and Caltech are doing. They don't want anybody to really know what's going on. They're telling the news media to downplay it. Even though the earthquake might be felt, a 3.0 large earthquake might be felt, the politicians are telling the news media to downplay it. We're not even talking about it. That means the public's not going to be notified about what's going on when it happens. And the news media is going to downplay it. As if, oh, nothing really happened. We just had a large earthquake, but nothing really happened. No real damage. Nobody really hurt. When there might be hundreds of thousands of people hurt or killed, made unalive. What happened here today in the Baldwin Hills needs to be noticed. All of you in the Los Angeles area, or if you have friends or neighbors here in the Los Angeles area, you need to tell them about this. Tell them about this channel. Tell them what we told you today. Because they need to know about it. They need to know about it. Now, let's go over to the desert area. Let's talk about the desert area first. Just a second. Let's go over to Bakersfield. Okay. Good old Bakersfield. Look what's happened here. Usually we only see maybe 1.0, 1.1 tremors. But now we're seeing 1.2, 1.3, maybe even 1.4 tremors here in Bakersfield. Yeah. California State University, Bakersfield. Seismic energy has increased here. It's not the only place. Let me take you over into Orange County, to Hemet, California. This is the San Jacinto campus. This is the community college campus in Hemet, California. The same thing applies here. Up until today, all we were seeing was maybe 1.0, 1.2 tremors. Now we're seeing 1.3, 1.4 tremors here. This is southeast from downtown Los Angeles, Orange County. We're seeing an increase in seismic energy here. Let's go out into the desert area. This is over in Rancho Mirage, where the San Andreas Fault is very active. The San Jacinto campus, where I just showed you, is right next to the San Jacinto Fault. The San Jacinto Fault is also moving. Here at Rancho Mirage, this is the San Andreas. Look what's happening here. We used to see only 1.2, 1.3, or excuse me, 1.2, 1.3 tremors, but now, today, we're actually seeing 2.0, 2.1, 2.2 earthquakes here. At 5:13 this morning, just after 5:13 this morning, I believe we've had a 2.3, 2.4 earthquake on that red line on the top right. Then we jump down to the green line after 10 a.m. today. That green line is 10:45. Look there. 1.9 tremors, 2.0 earthquakes here. 1.9 tremors, 2.0 earthquakes here. 2.09 earthquakes. On the blue line after 11 a.m. You see 11 a.m. over on the left on the black line. The blue line is 11:30 on the left-hand side. Over here, you see another earthquake. 11:36 this morning. 1.8, 1.9 tremor. The seismic energy has increased here in Rancho Mirage as a result of the San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault. Let's look over at Desert in Victorville, where Isaiah's granny lives, one of my dearest friends. Look at here. Okay, we just don't have tremors here. Now today, after 6:15 this morning, 6:18 this morning, we have a 2.0 earthquake. 2.0 earthquake. And then another 2.0 earthquake after 8:32 this morning. There's been a seismic increase of earthquakes. Not just an increase in the number of earthquakes, but the size of the earthquakes has increased here. Sonic Popo says he's put this on Facebook and Twitter like I do. If you folks haven't already known, I'm on Facebook. I'm also on Emergency Management Associates on Twitter or X, or you can see me at Ron Tyler on X. Okay, I have put links up there every night of this program. Again, this is Victorville this morning, or today. I pulled this seismogram here just after 1 p.m. Last entry here is 2, 3, 4, 5, 1:05 p.m. today. Let's move on here. That was Victorville. Okay. Let's go back to Los Angeles. Let's go over to Del Amo. Del Amo is a community just north of the city of LA. Look what's happening here. We're not just seeing tremors here. If you look closely at this seismogram, we're seeing 2.0, 2.5 earthquakes all over it. We're seeing 2.0 to 2.5 earthquakes all over the seismogram. The background color is white. There's 4 colors here. The hours are in black. The 15-minute to 15:14 is in red. The half hour from the 30-minute period on out to 3:44, I'm not 3:44, but out to the 44-minute period is in blue. For the 45-minute period is in green out to the next hour. Look at these earthquakes. The strength of the seismic energy has increased here, and the number of earthquakes has also increased. That's Del Amo. Let's go over to Ellis, California, also north of LA. Look at this. Last week we showed you tremors and some very, very minor earthquakes. Guess what we have here? At 5 a.m. this morning, we had tremors. 6 a.m. tremors. 6:30 a.m. tremors, but before that time period was finished, at 6:13 a.m., all of a sudden we saw a 2.6, 2.7 earthquake. Then a 2.8 earthquake within 30 seconds after that. We see 2.5 earthquakes all over this seismogram. All over the seismogram. Let's drop down here to 12:15 on the red line on the left-hand side. We go over to the right. Okay, this starts at approximately 12:23 this afternoon on the red line. 2.5, 2.7 earthquakes here. 2.5, 2.7 earthquakes. There's also some 2.0, 2.4 earthquakes here as well. Ellis, California is moving. The right stuff says his Navy buddy lives in NorCal. I've been telling him to get ready. I appreciate the right stuff because guess what? He and his family and neighbors need to be getting ready now. Because the seismic energy is increasing and the size of the earthquakes is also increasing. The numbers and size of earthquakes are increasing here. It's apparent. That was Ellis, California. Let's go over to Part E. Part E. Look at this. We've gone from tremors, we've gone from minor earthquakes, and yes, there's some minor earthquakes here as well. But look what happened after 12:15 today. Look what happened after 12:15 today. At 12:21 p.m. this afternoon, multiple 3.0 earthquakes happened. Within about 10 seconds, we had multiple 3.0 earthquakes hit here. Part E, California. Then it went down to tremors, then right back up to 3.0 earthquakes again for another 5 seconds or so. Then it calmed down to tremors and minor earthquakes again. Minor earthquakes 2.0, 2.9. Then it started increasing again. 12:48 p.m. this afternoon. Just after 12:48, we had another 3.0 earthquake on the green line. Then it calmed down to tremors and minor earthquakes again. But after 12:50 p.m. this afternoon, for over a minute, probably 70 seconds, we had a 3.5 earthquake. I'm saying this is the 3.5 because the top and the bottom of this sequence was cut off. We're seeing at least a 3.2, 3.3 right here. But the top and the bottom are cut off here. That means this earthquake is at least a 3.5. Then go back to some tremors and minor earthquakes again. And about a minute later, we go to a 2.9, 3.0. Fact. Fact. The data doesn't lie. You don't see these earthquakes mentioned on the USGS map. Not at all. They don't show any of this. Nothing. We are the only show on YouTube and probably also on Rumble. We're the only show showing you this information. Los Angeles, you need to understand what's going on because the agencies and the media is not going to tell you about it. This energy is building up. The energy is building up to a 9.0 earthquake, an 8.0, 9.0 earthquake here on the San Andreas Fault. And the other faults are going to echo that all around this valley, all over Southern California. This is serious, guys. I'm telling you, this is serious. Let's look over at Moore Park, also north of the city of LA. Look here. We've gone from just tremors and minor earthquakes to, again, 3.0 earthquakes here in Moore Park. The first one here happened after 5:16 this morning. 5:16 this morning, we had at least a 3.0 earthquake. Not to be outdone, after 8:19 this morning, another 3.0 earthquake. Yeah. All over. Then at 8:44 this morning, another 3.0 earthquake. Yeah. Let's go over to 10:19 this morning. Actually, almost 10:45. I'm not 10:45, 10:35 this morning. Another 3.0 earthquake. This is in Moore Park, guys. Multiple small earthquakes in Moore Park. It's not just tremors and minor earthquakes. Now we're gone to multiple small earthquakes. Our next earthquake happened after 12:44 this afternoon on the red line bottom on the right. 12:44 this morning, we had another 3.0 earthquake. Moore Park, California, just north of Los Angeles. Total Vagabonds is here from Ireland. Thank you for being here, Guy. We appreciate you. Guys in England and Ireland and Wales and Scotland, it's midnight. We're just after midnight. So when I see our buddy, Total Vagabonds, or Demon Catman, I give them additional love here because they are losing sleep over in their own countries by being here in this program. We appreciate you, brethren, for being here. God bless you all. This is Los Angeles, guys, Moore Park, Los Angeles. These people are shaking, and they're wondering why. I'm showing you why. The agency's not going to show it to you. They don't want you to know about it. Let's look at Mira Loma, just southwest of Loma Linda, where the medical center is. World-renowned Loma Linda Medical Center. Look what's happening here. This is just west of the San Jacinto Fault. We're having tremors and minor earthquakes here. Tremors and minor earthquakes, 2.0 earthquakes here. Seismic energy is building up here. In the past, we've had larger minor earthquakes. We've also had 3.0 earthquakes here in Mira Loma. I believe seismic energy is also building here. Let's go over to Fontana. Fontana is just south of Mira Loma. Look at this. Again, right next to the San Andreas Fault. Look what's happening here in Fontana. We're still seeing 3.0 earthquakes here. We're still seeing minor 2.0, 2.9 as well. And tremors here as well. Fontana is still shaking. Fontana's been shaking with 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes for several months now. Every day for several months. This is nothing new to Fontana. They're shaking. And I would have to say also south there in Rancho Cucamonga and Ontario and San Bernardino on the San Andreas Fault. They're shaking. That's not all, folks. There's more. I want to show you what is happening over in Laguna Beach, southwestern Los Angeles on the beach, right here. We are still seeing only tremors here. Tremors here. This is pretty much copacetic for Laguna Bell. Also Playa del Rey, Marina del Rey area. Let me show you that. Oh, doggone, I'm sorry. This is Playa del Rey, Marina del Rey on the northwest coast of Los Angeles. Now those triangles at the bottom, ignore those. Those are called artifact. Those triangles at the bottom are called artifact. Ignore those. Those don't matter. Here at Playa del Rey, we're not seeing much else but minor tremors here. Tiny tremors here. We don't have microquakes. These are tremors here. The same thing over on the south coast of LA. Okay? The whole place is moving still. But that's not all, folks. There's more. Let's go over to Rinaldi, also a suburb of Los Angeles. Look at Rinaldi here. What do we have here? This is the eastern part of LA. Look at the top. Yes, we're having tremors here. But look how the tremors are being shown. These wavy lines. Guess what that is? Those wavy lines are caused by magma. Magma channels down underneath the ground that we're walking on. Magma being carried to the volcanoes to the east side of LA. Yeah. Look what else we're being shown here. We're seeing some tremors here and one minor earthquake as well. That minor earthquake happened after 1, 2, 3, 4 at 11:34 this morning. 2.0 earthquake here. But these wavy lines are occurring because of magma that is flowing down beneath the surface of the ground. Interesting. Do we have a volcano out to the east? Yes, we do. We absolutely do. Now, USBS and Caltech would rather downplay it. They don't even like us talking about it. Look out here. This is Walnut La Puente. Walnut La Puente. This is a volcano, guys. This is a volcano. Each of these earthquake sequences, is caused by magma down beneath the surface. Yes, we are seeing 3.0 large earthquakes. Over here after 6 a.m. this morning. 6:02 a.m. this morning for a minute and a half. 75 seconds. We see this sequence of earthquakes cut off at the top and the bottom. That was a 3.5, 4.0 earthquake. A 3.5, 4.0 earthquake here. Over the right. That's after 6:13 a.m. this morning. In this case, there's 75 seconds here at the end of that hour period, 6:13, 6:14, and then it continues on the red line after that. 2 full minutes of 3.5, 4.0 shaking here. Small to moderate seismic shaking caused by a volcano over here in this area. Yeah. How about that? All of these seismic sequences are caused by magma beneath the surface. 3.0 to 4.0 energy here. Now, how does that happen? How does this happen? Let me move this off to the side. Let me show you how that happens. Okay? Magma is coming up from the ground like this, pounding on the floor of the volcano, the caldera. That piece of lava that hardened after the last eruption of the volcano. Now, there are still hills and small mountains over in that area. If you look at a map of Walnut La Puente area, you see hills and valleys there. The valley is where the caldera is. That is where the floor of the volcano is after the last eruption. Now it's a city, it's a town. There's golf courses there. There's some farmland there. But down beneath the surface, we have a volcano. That's what's causing these earthquakes here. That's what's causing these earthquakes here. There's just not one. There's two, there's three, there's four, there's five, there's six, there's seven, there's eight, there's nine, there's 10 earthquakes here. There are 10 3.0 and larger earthquakes here. And this was just before 1:15, or actually, I'm going to say before 1:05 p.m. today. Seismic energy doesn't stop just because the time element stops here. I pull the seismograph. These earthquakes are still occurring all day long, every day. Linda Covington is asking a question. When is the government going off the shutdown? I don't know. I wish I knew. That's a totally different story entirely. The shutdown started last Friday night because the Democrats walked out. All of your Democrat congressmen and senators walked off the job. They went home. They haven't been seen as of yet. Here it is Wednesday, almost a week later. They still haven't come back. Why haven't they come back? They walked off the job because President Trump would not, and the other senators and congressmen would not approve a bill that would allow the federal government to pay illegal aliens money. Healthcare as well. No, you and I, the taxpayer, are not going to pay for illegal aliens' healthcare. We're also not going to pay them a salary of money that they can just live off the government and stay here. They're not. Eventually, they're going to run out of money. They're going to leave the country themselves. The people that are still here getting paid by George Soros and other illegal factors, they're going to be arrested and toted off by the government as well. Our government, since President Trump took office on January 20th, has already arrested 89,000 people. 89,000 people have been arrested. That's a drop in the bucket to the amount of millions of people that came on into the United States on their own, illegally. Yes, we've had people that have self-deported. I don't have those numbers myself, but we've had thousands of people that have self-deported and left to go back to their own countries. But we are still seeing illegal aliens here in this country. And until that stops, our government is not going to pay them one red dime. Not one red dime. But that's what the Democrats want. At some point in time, the senators and congressmen that are still in the U.S., in Washington, yes, I believe some of those Democrats are still getting paid and are off on vacations someplace other than even in the U.S. The congressmen and senators that are still here are going to get tired of being there and not being able to put together legislation because the Democrats walked out. The Republicans and conservatives are still on job, on task. But that's going to change. That's going to change. The senators and congressmen that are still working are going to change the law. or they can pass legislation with a 51% notice. 50% notice plus one, who is the vice president of this country. Then the Democrats may be out of a job. The Democrats could find themselves without a job because the senators and Republicans, they're still there. The senators and congressmen, they're still in place in Congress. They could vote to not pay the Democrats one red dime until they come back to work. Yeah, that can essentially happen. And it might. It might. One of my mods, Don Patoga, one of my best friends, also put up the switchboard to Washington, D.C. Now be very careful when you call the switchboard. Switchboard is being operated by volunteers to the president and volunteers to congressmen and senators. Don't rail on the switchboard operators. Ask them nicely to speak to your senators and congressmen. Now, your senators or congressmen, if they're Democrats, are not going to be there. But you'll be able to leave them a message on their voicemail. Be nice. Don't threaten them. But in no uncertain terms, leave them a message that they need to come back or be out of a job. Because if the senators and congressmen take their money away from them, and they have to come back, they're going to come whipping back and saying, "Oh, I'm sorry." But you voters and I can vote them out in November. There's a certain percentage of congressmen and senators that are up for vote in November. We can vote those Democrats out of office and put somebody else in there that will do the job. So call the Washington switchboard, 202-225-3121 or 202-224-3121. Tell the switchboard you want to talk to your senator or congressman. And tell them what you want done. If it is a Republican conservative, tell them to change law to allow legislation to get passed with 50% plus one. And I'm sure that's going to soon happen. Because Senator Schumer, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, and all the other errant congresswomen and congressmen are going to be out of office. Out of office. So be nice to the switchboard operators, but in no uncertain terms whether you get a voicemail or talk to an aide. Tell them that you want your congressman, if they're a Republican or a conservative, to turn the legislation over to where they can pass legislation with 50% plus one, the Vice President of the United States. That way less legislation can go forward. Okay? Don, be careful. Don says he's an undercover $, American Snoop Society operative. Don says he is an American $, American Snoop Society operative, aka snitch. Mess around and find out. I'm here to help. I'm also one of those snitches. That's why I'm giving you this information. I'm a big snitch. Okay? If I had it my way, those Democrats that walked off the job would not just not getting paid, but after 1 week, they'd get fired. There must be legislation passed in every state that if you walk off your job and you are an elected politician, if you walk off the job for more than 1 week, unless it's sick pay, unless you're sick, absolutely sick. Must be verified that you're sick. You lose your job. At that point in time, a governor can reappoint someone to take your place. Yeah. There's a wrestler over in the WWE. His name's LA Knight. He's very adamant, very animated. When he means yes, he means yes. He goes, yeah. I mean the same thing. Get rid of these idiots in Congress, both senators and congressmen. Get rid of them. Replace them with someone that's going to do the job that we want them to do. Replace them with someone who's going to give our country what we want, not what these Democrats, socialists, communists want. We do not want a communist society here in this country. You folks in New York, while I'm on this bandwagon, you folks in New York, you must never elect that Islamic communist into power as the governor of your state. Or I shouldn't say the governor, the mayor of your city. Make sure Moynihan isn't put in as your mayor. Never, ever. He should never, ever be doing that at all. Unreal. Okay, guys, I'm calmed down now. I'm off my rant. But again, Los Angeles, guys, is moving. It's moving to a great extent. Earthquakes. And we're going to continue to see earthquakes in this area. All over LA, from north to south, east to west, down into San Diego and the Imperial Valley. Let me show you San Diego next. Okay? I've shown you what's happening in Los Angeles. Let's go over to San Diego. Let's go into San Diego City. Look at this. This is Mission Valley, San Diego. This is the SDG building, the San Diego Gas and Electric building, just on the north side of San Diego City. Here we're seeing tremors. But after 11, I want to say what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After 11:21 a.m. this morning on the red line. That is a 1.5 tremor on the Rose Canyon Fault. The Rose Canyon Fault comes out of Los Angeles, out at sea. Comes off the Newport Inglewood Fault. Comes into San Diego County and Encinitas, California, North San Diego County. Then it runs along the coastline all the way down into San Diego City and out into San Diego Harbor. We're going to see upwards of a 6.5 earthquake on the Rose Canyon Fault in the very near future. You see tremors here. You see tremors and some minor earthquakes here in San Diego City. That changes as well. You need to be very well cognizant of that. Earthquakes happening in San Diego County. Let's go up into San Diego North County, up to where San Onofre Nuclear Power Plant was. The San Diego Nuclear Power Plant in San Onofre is still not operational. It has been decommissioned. However, the buildings are still there. Here at San Onofre, we're seeing microquakes and minor tremors. Microquakes and 1.0 tremors here at San Onofre. But it's not over. Let's go over to San Diego Cuyamaca High School. I shouldn't say north, but East County, San Diego. Up in the mountains, up at the top of the Chocolate Mountains of San Diego. Now here, Caltech and USGS did not complete putting the seismogram together. They cut it off. They cut off this seismogram after 7:46, actually not 7:46, about 7:50 a.m. this morning. They shut it off. Why did they shut it off? Was the Chocolate Mountains having an earthquake they didn't want us to see? All we are shown here are some microquakes and some 1.3 tremors here. Cuyamaca High School in the Cuyamaca Mountains of San Diego County. We're seeing some 1.0, 1.2, 1.3 tremors here. Why did they shut off this seismograph? I don't know. I wish I knew. But that's not all, folks. There's more. Let's go down to Julian, also East County, San Diego. Julian is in the mountains of San Diego County on the east side. This is just west of the Chocolate Mountains. Earlier this year, I believe it was in March, we had a 5.1 earthquake. Julian here is seeing 1.1, 1.2 tremors here, as well as a bunch of microquakes. Julian is still having minor tremors here. Scattered around, but minor tremors here. That's going to be ongoing for quite some time. Even on the USGS map, occasionally they will show a tremor here at Julian. By the way, you guys in California, or anybody planning a trip for San Diego County, right now is a great time to go out for apples and lunch in the San Diego County mountains. Julian has great restaurants. They have good bed and breakfast out there. Go out there and have lunch or even dinner out there. They have fresh apple pie from their own orchards here. They also have apple cider. Some of the best apple cider I've ever had here in Julian. Go out there. There's shops that you can go there and visit. There's even an old museum out in Julian. Might enjoy that. I've been there, done that. The Chamber of Commerce ought to pay me to give these inspirational messages about Julian. Yeah, they ought to pay me. Gosh, I wish they would. Okay, let's go east over the Chocolate Mountains over into the Imperial County. Okay, over in the Imperial County, we have earthquakes. Several cities have seismographs over there in Imperial County. The first one I want to go to is El Centro. Good old El Centro. Look at this. El Centro is having a bunch of 3.0 earthquakes. Earthquakes started hitting in El Centro about February this year. They've happened every day since. 3.0 earthquakes here. Some of these earthquakes are caused by magma beneath the surface. Magma heading out from the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, underneath the bottom of the Pacific Ocean over here into the North American plate. Magma heading underground here from San Diego County all the way out here in the Imperial County. Why? Because we have a volcano in the southern side of the Salton Sea. It's called the Salton Butte Volcano. Some of these earthquakes in El Centro are caused by magma down beneath the surface. The others are caused by the San Jacinto Fault. The San Jacinto Fault. We have 23.0 earthquakes here in El Centro today. It's too bad I haven't seen Juanito here in our chat. Juanito is a member of our EMA family and he lives in El Centro, he and his family. They feel every earthquake. When we've talked about this in the past, Juanito has said he and his family feel every earthquake. These are felt earthquakes, some of them larger than 3.0. But you see minor earthquakes as well. That's happening. We have tremors, we have minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.9, and 3.0 plus earthquakes here. That could change. We've seen it change in the past. In the past here in the Imperial Valley, we've had actually 4.05, or not 4.0. Yes, we've had 4.0 earthquakes, but we've had 5.0, upwards of 5.5 earthquakes here in the Imperial Valley. With that said, I'm going to take this seismogram down for a few minutes. Yes, we're going to finish talking about earthquakes in the Imperial Valley. Okay, I first want to go back to the USGS map just momentarily. I want to show you what's going on here. Let me take down our EMA banner. Let's take down my webcam here. Yes, we're showing earthquakes again off the southeast coast of Russia, Kamchatka Peninsula. These happen every day. Yesterday, USGS showed no earthquakes here. But guess what? They're here every day whether USGS shows them or not, because the European map shows them. The European map shows those earthquakes. There are 2 5.0 earthquakes off the southeast coast of Kamchatka Peninsula today. Let's go over here into California. Southern California right here. This is the Salton Sea right here. Down over here in the south central part of the Salton Sea is the Salton Butte volcano. It's an active volcano. It could produce an eruption of up to 30,000 feet high. The Salton Butte volcano. I just got through showing you El Centro here. Good old El Centro here. Okay, Sealy is a small town in the Imperial Valley, but it's east of El Centro here. Actually, it's south of El Centro. I'm sorry, south of El Centro. It's been some time since I've been here in the Imperial Valley. This is the El Centro Naval Air Station. Yes, the Navy flies F-18 fighters out of El Centro. They fly F-16s, F-17s, and F-18 fighters out of El Centro Naval Air Station. Over here to the east, this is the town of El Centro. This is where Juanito lives. This is a town of about 20,000 people today. Used to be a town of about 10,000. Now it's about a town of about 20,000 here in El Centro. Now I want to go up north to Imperial. I want to show you Imperial here. It's in the center of your screen on this particular case. Okay? I'm going to show you the town of Imperial next. Okay? Then I'm going to go north. I'm going over here to the northeast to show you Calipatria. This is a very small town of Calipatria. There might be 2,000 to 3,000 people here today. Okay? Then I'm going to go further southeast here into a town called Holtville, California. That's Brawley. This is Holtville down here. This is the town of Holtville down here. I'm going to show you earthquakes in each of these towns. Now, just because the earthquakes are in these towns does not mean nobody else felt these earthquakes. These earthquakes, if they're large enough, 3.0 or larger, are being felt over a wide area. They're being felt over a wide area. Okay, so that's what I'm going to show you next. Then I'm going to go up here to Bombay Beach, over here on the southeast side of the Salton Sea. Good old Bombay Beach. Guess what? Right next to Bombay Beach, what do we have? The San Andreas Fault. Up here to the north, we have North Shore Salton Sea. I did not pull the seismograph for North Shore Salton Sea today. Here in North Shore Salton Sea, all we have were tremors. But the San Andreas Fault also supplies the energy for those tremors. When the San Andreas Fault enters the Imperial Valley, right up here, it's called the Imperial Fault. So it doesn't matter whether it's called the Imperial Fault or the San Andreas, you see what I'm saying. It's the same fault. It's the same fault that's going to cause major destruction all over Southern California, to include Los Angeles. Now, let's go down here to the U.S.-Mexican border. This is the border region. You see the town of Mexicali here? It's over on the south side of the border. The north side of the border is a town called Calexico here. Calexico. Down here on the south side of the border in a place called Guadalupe, Victoria here. Back in on April 3rd, 2011. Actually, 2010. April 3rd, 2010. We had a 7.1 earthquake that now seismologists are saying was a lot larger than it was. They called it a 7.1 at the time. That 7.1 earthquake shook all the way out to Arizona here. All the way out here in Arizona. You see Interstate 8 here? Goes into Arizona here. All the way into Arizona, Tucson and Phoenix. They felt this quake. The quake was felt all over the Imperial Valley. In Mexicali, they had a lot of destruction. Calexico also suffered some destruction. There was some destruction all over the Imperial Valley. Also all the way over into San Diego City. And up into Los Angeles as well. That 7.1 earthquake was felt all the way into northern LA. Speaking of which, well, I've got you here. Over here, we have another red earthquake. Just happened. Lake Arrowhead. Lake Arrowhead. This is over in the southern San Bernardino Mountains. This is the 2.1 earthquake that just happened. Fancy that. Fancy that. Over here in San Diego County, we had another red earthquake here just happened. This one is a 0.8 microquake at Palomar Observatory. Palomar Telescope is here, guys. Did you know that? Palomar Telescope here. Fancy that. No, they didn't see any damage here at Palomar Telescope. This is a microquake. Yes, the ground shook imperceptibly. We see these microquakes and tremors all the time at Palomar Mountain. Palomar Mountain is 7,100 feet high. Just for those of you that might wonder about it. Okay? Also offshore San Diego out here. There's another earthquake here. This is offshore from La Jolla, 19 miles west of La Jolla. La Jolla is a ritzy part of San Diego County right here. Very ritzy. Millionaires live here. Offshore of La Jolla, we had a 1.7 tremor here. Unreal. Unreal. Down here at the border, this earthquake happened at 3:28 this morning. Actually, to be quite honest, it's 3:28 Eastern time, which would be 28 minutes after midnight Pacific time. This is the 2.1 earthquake in San Ysidro. San Ysidro is a community down here at the border. This was a 2.1 minor earthquake here. 2.1 earthquake probably was not even felt. 2.0, 2.9 earthquakes cannot be felt except for someone that's very sensitive. Okay, this is out near Otay Mesa. Otay Mesa. Okay, Otay Mesa, there is a Border Patrol Customs Support Detention Center here in Otay Mesa. There is also a San Diego County Jail in Otay Mesa, just so you know. I just told you. How about that? You probably didn't know that. I have taken prisoners to the Otay jail before. Also over here in the Imperial Valley here. This is a 1.0 tremor over here in Ocotillo Wells, just east of the Salton Sea. So let's go back to the Imperial Valley and show you what's happening there. I want to show you the map so you understand where these earthquakes are happening. Okay. Again, this is El Centro, California. Okay. From there, let's go over to the town of Imperial. Imperial has also seen 3.0 earthquakes, but that's not what happened here in the town of Imperial today. All we are seeing here in the town of Imperial are long duration tremor activity. Long duration tremor activity caused by the San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault. Over at Bombay Beach, the San Andreas Fault runs underneath the Salton Sea. It comes out over at Calipatria. Then it runs to the southwest over near Westmoreland. We used to have a seismograph that was in Westmoreland. USGS and Caltech shut it off. At Westmoreland, the San Andreas Fault goes south, over towards Imperial, further south over towards Holdville. That's why we have earthquakes down here. Let's go over to Holdville right now. Then we'll go north to Calipatria, and then we'll end over at Bombay Beach. Good old Holdville right here. Look at this. After 10:45, Caltech and USGS shut off the seismograph here. Shut off after 11:50 a.m. this morning. Prior to that, we had microquakes, we had tremors, we had minor earthquakes as well. Upwards of 2.5, 2.7 earthquakes, except for one. Except for one. That earthquake happened after, actually it was 12:40 or 12:50 this afternoon when they shut off the seismograph. Over here at 12:44, just after 12:44 this morning or this afternoon, we have a 3.3 earthquake here. A 3.3 earthquake here in Holtville. Unreal, guys. Yes, we've had 3.0 earthquakes here in Holtville before. This 3.3 is nothing new. Let's go over to Calipatria. You're kidding me. Okay, just a second, you guys. Just a second. Apparently, the business people at USGS and Caltech did not want me to upload the earthquakes. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to force them to let me do this. This blows my mind. I know for a fact that I downloaded it. Give me a second. This is almost embarrassing. I have to force the agency to let me download this. It's sad. It's so sad. It's not funny. Okay, unless they have control of my computer right now, I've downloaded this earthquake. Okay, so let's go back over to my database. Yes, I've got it right here. This is the Calipatria seismograph. This is a USGS seismograph here. Okay, now I'm going to show this to you. Look here, look closely. This shows us 24 hours of earthquakes here in Calipatria, just barely on the southeast side of the Salton Sea. Okay. First off, the USGS starts letting us see earthquakes after 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Tremors, minor earthquakes here. Okay, just after 2:30 p.m. About 2:40 p.m. yesterday afternoon, we have a 2.5, 2.6 earthquake. Then after 3:15, about 3:24 p.m. yesterday afternoon, we had at least another 2.5 earthquake, but the top and the bottom of this earthquake sequence was cut off. This looks like a small rectangle, which means this earthquake could have been as much as a 3.0 earthquake. 3.0 earthquake. Okay? Look at this seismograph closely. Okay? After 5 p.m., 1700 hours. After 5 p.m. yesterday afternoon, the powers that be shut down or nearly shut down the seismograph that covers earthquakes here at Calipatria. Why do I say that? Before it was shut or turned down here, nearly shut off or turned down here, we had some earthquakes, quite a few. The next one that's shown here is after 7:30. That was a 2.4, 2.5 earthquake. After that, we just see tremors here and there. We also see the thickness of these horizontal lines. Thickness counts here. The thicker horizontal lines mean a lot of magma is headed towards the volcano. There's a lot of magma headed towards the Salton Butte volcano here. The thinner lines say less magma here. It's called magma pulse signals. Magma pulse signals here. Incredible. But they turned down the seismograph. So we're only seeing like after 5 p.m. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tremors. 8 tremors. Because after 5 a.m. this morning, they turned the seismograph back up. Now, we don't know how far they've turned it up, but we're seeing earthquakes. Again, a lot of earthquakes. We're also seeing thicker lines here. That is showing there is magma around and to the Salton Butte volcano. You see 2.0, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7 earthquakes. Then there is one earthquake over here to the right. It appears this earthquake happened after approximately 5:14 a.m. this morning. They cut off the bottom and the top of this earthquake sequence. Prior to the earthquake sequence happened, we had a bunch of tremors. Probably about a minute or two of earthquake tremors. But after that, we had maybe 45 seconds of earthquake tremors. But they still chopped off the top and the bottom of the quake sequence, which means we had a 3.0 earthquake here. Another 3.0 earthquake here, at least. This earthquake shook the ground for 30 seconds. The thickness of this earthquake counts. About 30 seconds of earthquake shaking here. Calipatria. Usually we see anywhere from 75 to 150 earthquakes a day here at Calipatria. Last night, yesterday evening, they shut down the seismograph or turned it way down after 5 p.m. yesterday evening. They did not turn it back up until just after 5 a.m. this morning, meaning we are missing 12 hours of seismic activity. All we have shown are tiny tremors here. It's not just tiny tremors here. Those tiny tremors are representative of earthquakes that hit. Because the seismograph was turned down, that means the energy that came through the turn down was actually bigger earthquakes, much more than just tremors. Again, we normally would see anywhere from 75 to 150 earthquakes here at Calipatria today. Today. No joke. No joke, guys. I'm dead cotton picking serious. 75 to 150 earthquakes a day. Look at all that at the bottom of that seismograph. Look at all the magma there. All that magma. That's embarrassing. Cassandra says she's going to say goodnight. She has plans with a friend to go watch the movie The Dragon Prophecy by Jonathan Cahn. That's cool. Cassandra, thank you for being here. We appreciate you so much. I'm going to show you now one more seismograph over at Bombay Beach on the southeast side of the Imperial Valley. Good old Bombay Beach. Look what's happening here. Earthquake just like Walnut La Puente. Just like LBO on the north side of Mount Shasta. Earthquakes just like we have over in the earthquake fault area in Koza Volcanic Zone there. Unreal. Earthquakes caused by volcanic action here. Look at the number of earthquakes here. Look at the number of earthquakes here, guys. The top line is 5 a.m. here. We see some earthquakes here. They cut off the top and the bottom of that quake sequence as well. After 5:15 on the red line, they did the same thing there. After 5:30 on the blue line, they did the same thing there. After 5:55 a.m. this morning on the green line on the right-hand side, They did it again. At least 3.5, 4.0 earthquakes here at Bombay Beach. I've been to Bombay Beach. They've had shaking there before. I have friends and relatives that have been to Bombay Beach recently within the last year. They felt earthquakes here. They felt moderate earthquakes here at Bombay Beach. Bombay Beach used to be a spa here. Now it's a ghost town. Yes, they have tubs out here in the middle of the desert of Bombay Beach where people used to soak in the waters of the spa here. It's no longer there. But the ground is still shaking. We're showing you at least 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 3.0 earthquakes here, and there are more. There are a lot more. They shut off this seismogram here after 12:30. 12:30 on it doesn't show anything. There are plenty of earthquakes after that as well. Any questions? I basically showed you all over Southern California. The earthquakes are increasing. Earthquakes are increasing here, guys. Earthquakes are moving. Literally all over the Imperial Valley, all over Southern California entirely. Any questions? Yeah, Cassandra, please let us know how your movie was. I'd be excited to hear it. Carol would be excited to know that too. Do that. Would love to hear it. Any questions about these earthquakes, guys? Or questions about the nor'easter coming into the East Coast? Or even questions about that idiot that set the fire over Los Angeles last year? Or what happens in Congress right now? With Jim Jordan introducing legislation to literally kick the congressmen and senators out of Congress because they were not born in this country. Yeah, it's starting to happen. Thanks, Cassandra. God bless you. God bless you. We appreciate you a lot. A lot. By the way, Cassandra was in our members only meeting earlier today. We appreciate her being here. Now I'm going over to Matthew. I'm going to give you a small devotional here. Why? Because I can. Because I worship Jesus Christ. I worship God the Father. I want to go over now to Matthew chapter 14. I'm going to start with Matthew chapter 14, verse 31. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? Peter the apostle, doubted Jesus Christ. When we saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid and began to sink. Christ asked him to come off the land and walk on water to the boat. He began to sink. He cried, saying, Lord, save me. Christ reached out his hand and pulled him out of the water. Why did thou doubt me? How many people today doubt the Savior? How many people doubt the Savior? Not me. Not me. I've seen many, many miracles happen during my lifetime. I've seen miracles happening during my lifetime. Or the Savior blessed other people through me. Where I've also been blessed. Thank you for those hearts on our chat here. I appreciate it a lot. We can't doubt the Savior. We should never doubt the Savior. I would dare say most of us have had or seen miracles in our own lives. Whether they happen to one of us or someone else, we've seen them happen. Please don't doubt the Savior. Please don't doubt the Savior. I see things happening all throughout my life. I've even seen things happen during this past week and this weekend. Miracles in my own life. I have received revelation from our Savior Jesus Christ this weekend. Revelation not just to me, but to my family members as well. Each one of us can receive revelation from God. First, we need to be worthy of it. We need to be praying and be humble. God is not going to help us unless we're humble, praying and asking for his help. Then he will definitely give it to us. Pray, read the scriptures. Know what God wants you to do. Then you need to do it. Then you need to do it. I testify that Jesus Christ lives. Jesus hears and answers our prayers. God hears and answers our prayers through his Son, Jesus Christ. As I said, I have received miracles in my own life. I've seen it. I've seen this program and people on this program be blessed through the Savior here. I've seen it happen. One of our dear friends here, Linda Covington, she's received the blessings of prayer in her life. Last year at this time, she wasn't doing that well. Her sister wrote me a note asking us to pray, telling me that Linda Covington loved us, loved the EMA family, and asked us to pray. We prayed for her. Linda Covington is still here. Linda Covington is still blessing our family here because of our prayers to God for her life. May God bless each and every one of us. May God bless each and every one of us. Brothers and sisters, I have a testimony. It's true. It's true. If anything else happens tonight, we will be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. The same thing tonight and tomorrow. Otherwise, the next time you'll see us is tomorrow afternoon with another episode of the Emergency Management Associates, where we're going to talk specifically about the Cascadia subduction zone and the earthquakes happening there. We're also going to mention the volcanoes as well. There is activity there that you ought to know about. May God bless you. May God protect you. May God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Much love. See you soon.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, we're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. We break down the complex, make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety. The vital you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing family, a member of our knowledge club. With every like, every share, and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide. You help us build resilience with nowhere for uncertainty to hide. Your engagement truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright. We're always learning, always striving to be better, bring you the most up-to-date information, no matter the weather. Emergency Management Associates is here for you now and forever, it's true. Keep watching, keep learning, because we truly appreciate all that you do. Thank you. Thank you.